Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are y'all doing? Sorry about last week. You know how it is. Sometimes real life decides it needs to take over. You got to do what you got to do. So, next week I decided, let's just see what you guys are doing. Turn it over to you guys. Let's talk about what you got going on next week. And some of y'all maybe have something coming in that someone's giving you for Christmas. For me, it's Christmas for me every time one of these come. And I got notification that my, I think it's a Spider Noir is coming. Also, supposedly my old Captain America and bench are coming as well. Then we're going to do the Replicade, Dragon's Lair Replicade after Christmas. When that game was out back in the 80s, I couldn't tell you how many times. I probably spent $1,000 playing that game. I think it was touted as the first Laserdisc game when it was out. Is this thing not broadcasting? My computer over here saying still waiting. But my YouTube channel over here says it's live. Let's give a refresh of this. This is the Ant-Man from Ant-Man and the Wasp. We have here Ant-Man from the first Ant-Man movie. The Hot Toys version, King Arts. Don't remember which one of this is. Marvel Select. This is a El Cheapo. And some of the other ones. And then we have here Ant-Man from Captain America Civil War. And don't remember which that one is either. And then a couple of the bitty guys out there. I always want to say Marvel Select, but it might not be in the 1/12 scale. Sometimes they look really good. And sometimes they look, not really good at all. Golly, what in the heck's going on here? Okay, so let's start streaming 2 minutes ago. All right, so at least I know we're live here. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I've got no feed over here right now. It was there. I was able to respond to you guys, and then it didn't do anything. So this figure has been taking an unbelievably long time to get delivered to us, and I don't know what was the whole holdup on that. I really don't. And Wasp has been out now. A lot of you have got your Wasp. I haven't even got notification that Wasp was even coming yet. And that might have been why they held on to this for so long, because they wanted to release them at the same time. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not like, truthfully, it's not like there's much improvement or difference in these guys. And I'm almost expecting the same thing here. I've bought this, and again, gosh dang it. Don't remember who this one's from, but it's, for my opinion, pretty close to the recreation of it from the movie. And then the Wasp, made by the same company, looks really good. Just threw her on the floor there. So of course I'm excited to be posting them together. Oh God. There we go. There's live streaming. Toys Mafia, good morning. Martin Rygard, welcome. Martin Rygard Lassen, welcome. Glad to have you this morning. Jake, good morning. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. this Wasp looks great also. And that's why I'm thinking probably their intent for taking so long to get this out was because they're wanting to get both of these out at the same time, because they really are a companion piece in this regard. Certainly you could collect just the Wasp. Certainly you could collect just Ant-Man. But really, they are Ant-Man and the Wasp from this movie. So it's a good companion piece. And see, how do I have her? I have her normally with her hand on his shoulder as such, and then something to that effect. That's how I posed them together. This little these little things are neat, but you can't really never really tighten them down far enough. I guess you should put some glue or something in there to strengthen them up. There really is no, you know, but they're neat little display and storage compartment here. Whoever the hell it was that made this, what's it say? Marvel BSP China. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who made this. But it's the one I recommend if you're wanting the accuracy of what looks like to the scale from the movie. Unlike this other Ant-Man and Wasp I have over here, which just looks childish, just doesn't look collector worthy. It came with a big Anthony, and they're writing it. The colors are off. It just looks childish. And that's fine, you know, if that's your thing. For me, I'm going for that museum quality movie masterpiece. So it really disappoints me just immensely whenever Hot Toys releases some crap, which they've been doing a little bit more lately than not. So let's hope this isn't. Godspeed 7, good morning. 4 p.m. in Denmark. Eric, how's it going? SH Figure Arts, that's possible as well. I can't remember which one it is, but these 1/12 guys, some of them are dead on. Some of them are dead on. And this is also a 1/12 scale figure here. These really are the same size. I just have them on two different stands to make them look like he's still transitioning down. But this is crap. And this is, I mean, come on, in 1/12 scale, it looks really good. You know what I mean? This as well, really, really good. So if these guys can make something that resembles what it's supposed to be, right colors, right pieces, and the right thing, when you start dealing with this, and Hot Toys starts producing some crap, like they did with, in my opinion, Venom Pool, crap, red-haired, braided, Civil War, or Black Widow, crap, the Ronin figure, crap. It's really upsets me. I mean, it really upsets me. And you're paying a premium for these pieces. So here's the artist responsible. So the hit team of who we have to blame if it ends up being crap. Let's see, who on here do we know? Of course, JC Hong. He knows what he's doing. Hiro Kwan knows what he's doing. There's nobody else in here in regards to the control of the figure that I recognize. James Lee and Indiana Chan, those are names I don't really know that well. James Lee. Of course, you know, package designer, Monster Jr., photography directors, Cock and Tit. But JC Hong is the head painter here, and that's the master. So I'm expecting this to be dead on. JC Hong. He's the master. The heads are done in Korea. The bodies and everything else is done in China. And each head is individually hand painted. So they sculpt it however they sculpt it. They may sculpt it 3D on the computer. They may sculpt it with clay. I'm not sure how each artist is doing it. And then they crank them out of the machine. The sculpt's out the machine, and then they're hand painted. So each one of these is its unique work of art in that regards. These backdrops sometimes are great. Sometimes they're just wasted fluff that doesn't do anything. And in this instance, I'm going to say, I guess it tells the story, especially because I've not seen any other to scale pieces of this. So it does this job for me. So that's good if you are going that direction. Because, as you know, some of you, when people are lucky enough to see your collection, it's not like any of us really have a museum where people are just coming in to see our toys. But whenever somebody comes over to the house or whatever and they see them, they may or may not be a fan of the franchise, and they may have no idea what they're looking at. And so when you have something that also tells the story to somebody who doesn't know it, then that keeps you from having to explain the whole 9 yards. Well, what's this guy? Well, what's he doing? Why are there so many of them? Is he multiple man? No, he's Ant-Man. He shrinks. Oh, okay, that makes sense. This little building, I thought that was the cutest thing when I seen that. And I'm glad that they included it. It's really, really neat as such. Wrist pegs, batteries for the light up helmet. Looking at this head sculpt here, and for years, when you get some of these figures, you would have to tell yourself, okay, yeah, I can see the resemblance of who this is supposed to be. It makes sense who this kind of looks like the Gwyneth Paltrow Pepper Potts figure. That really doesn't look that much like Pepper Potts. But, there's no question about it, based off of everything else that's going on, who the character's really supposed to be. And so, as time has gotten by, and these artists have been making these figures over and over and over again, it would become more and more better versed at making the figure look like who it's supposed to be, especially the head sculpt. So I'm a little more critical nowadays in regards to this. I mean, Hot Toys has been doing this for 20 years. They've had the Marvel franchise for 10 years in regards to the cinematic universe. So there's really no excuse at this point. They should all be masters at their craft now, at this point. So when I get a figure or a character and I have to look at it and I have to say to myself, gosh, I'm not really sure if that looks like who it is, then I'm not too happy. And initial impression on this Paul Rudd, I'm not too pleased. I'm gonna look at it here a little more just a second now that I got everything out of the box. But right off the bat, I'm thinking, excuse me. So let me look at this a little more. Okay. Yeah, I see Paul here, but I don't know, guys. If you were to just take a glance at that and not being told who it is, would you say, oh, that's definitely Paul Rudd? Would you definitely say, oh, yeah, that's definitely not Hank Pym? What's his name? Scott Lang? Is that who you see here? Really? I'm not so certain. Something's amiss, and I don't know what it is. Let's look at this other full-on head sculpt from Civil War. I think the Civil War is a better head sculpt. Matter of fact, you know what's interesting here? So I can pop this head off easily. Nah. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a cleft in that chin, isn't it? Do you see a cleft in that chin? That's that little portion here in the bottom of your chin that gives you either a single rounded chin or a double skull chin there. There's no cleft in this chin. There's a cleft in this chin. So who is whom? Which one of these is Paul Rudd? Does Paul Rudd have a cleft in his chin? Do you guys know? One of these is an imposter. One of these is a Skrull. And one is not. So I'm digging this sculpt better than this one right off the bat. It kind of pisses me off. I mean, this figure's 3 years old or more. When was this made? 2018? Is that what that says? It's either 18 or 16. It's got to be 18. Can't be 16. It's going to be 2018. So in 3 years' time, this is what we go to. I'm curious, which is it? Does Paul Rudd have a cleft in his chin or not? Who got it right? Who got it wrong? Suri Gupta, how you doing, man? Siddharth Gupta, how's it going, man? What impressed me most of all these figures, and even collecting them, Feisted, the head sculpts, some have so much detail and can really give a figure character. I'm telling you, some of these are like dead-on little miniature guys. I mean, it's almost like you really have somebody that they've shrunk them and put them in your house, and you have that person now. Some of these are dead on. This falls short. Come on, JC, you did this, man. I tell you what, who sculpted this? Head painter, head art, painting control, designer, controller, accessories, designer, controller, manager. Nobody, and no one's taking credit for sculpting the head. All right, let's see what we got. So the first line is creative producers, product designers, head painter, head art director, painting controller, 3D designer, painting controller, accessory supervisors, costume production designers, package designers, photography directors, production controllers. So maybe the 3D designer, Jong Hyuk Park. He's a name I don't recognize. But yeah, I'm curious if one of you guys could tell me whether Paul Rudd has a cleft in his chin or not. No cleft, cleft. And that's something that you just don't do away with unless you're getting some plastic surgery done. Big fan of Ant-Man. Just get past that head sculpt of Paul Rudd. This one, yeah. Maybe he got plastic surgery. It's the creepy smile. It is a creepy smile. And Paul Rudd's a comedic actor. He was a comedic actor going into this. And so many people will badmouth comedy in these types of movies. And I love the comic portions of it. I thought Thor Ragnarok was hilariously funny. Ant-Man, all of Paul Rudd's scenes are great. I like his interaction when he's, what was it, in game where he's there at the Avengers headquarters, and it's the first time he sees Nebula and Rocket, and he's just totally blown away. And I mean, that whole little, whatever, however long that takes, 3 minutes or whatever, where he sees War Machine and Hulk and Nebula and Rocket all in that time frame. He's just what's up, regular size, man. That whole little comedic thing there is just perfect. And I have no problem with Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. I don't think this is Paul Rudd. I don't know what's going on here. But to answer your question, sometimes people will say something like, "Oh, they just took the same head sculpt and repainted it." No, this is totally different head sculpt. Totally. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. From the ground up. So, like you said, if you can get past the head sculpt, yeah, I probably will not even. I will not do this type of thing with this. He's going to be helmet on, for fact. An IMDb portrait of him, straight on. The new face looks more accurate than this old one. Okay, thank you, Godspeed. Thank you. That's good info. So now what do we do with that? If this is who he is, then that's got to go, right? That's what you should do, because now that's the wrong Paul Rudd. So he's got to go. Helmet on him, and or put this one over here. Whichever works for the story that you're doing. Right? And that's what we get to do. That's why we buy, in this case, the figures over statues. When you're buying a statue, and a lot of you guys are also statue collectors, I've collected statues, you are stuck to the pose that the creator gave you. You're telling one story, and that's the only story you can tell, ever. And the advantage of figures are you get to tell your own story. You're the one that directs what story is being told. Whether you're recreating a scene, or if you're even going as far as literally making your own scene, as in stop motion animation. One thing I always say on these hands, whenever you pull a hand out, if the peg's still in the hand, don't fight it. Don't fight, especially if you have extra pegs. Don't fight it. It's not worth it. Obviously, we have it's looser going into this wrist here, the arm, than it was in the hand. So why would I want to try to yank this out of this hand, or it's obviously got a great connection, shove it in here where it's obviously doesn't have a great connection, and then try to put a new hand on it, and it literally just start falling out while I'm going with it. So in my opinion, it's been from my experience, if you pull a hand off, and in this instance, the wrist peg stayed in the wrist, and you have pieces falling off of him, go with whatever it is that it wants to be. This guy wants to stay in the wrist, buddy, we're going to leave him in the wrist, and because that's a good, nice, tight fit. This one didn't want to stay in the wrist. We're going to try a different wrist peg. So those are my recommendations in that regards. Don't fight it. You at least get 2 wrist pegs, and the majority of the wrist pegs are interchangeable. You may not have black ones or something to that effect. You may have to use a flesh-colored one or something along that line, but at least you're giving it a second go around of possibly having one that's going to fit in that arm better. I like that the Marvel team, the MCU team, started doing retractable helmets as such, which makes it nice. You don't necessarily have to pose him holding his helmet. I mean, the football pose is cool. The player takes off his helmet and holds it while he talks to you or whatever. It's cool. I've done the same thing with Black Panther. But with, for instance, the Iron Man figures, where you can just take the helmet off and just put this on there to represent the helmets being retracted, I think that's great. And I'm pretty positive that's what this is supposed to be, as a retracted helmet. I don't remember. Where's the instructions? I need to have a peek at those to make sure that that's what we got going on. Civil War head is a little too pronounced on the chin. Okay, so we're going to retire the Civil War head then. And the question then becomes, do we, because we already have literally this right? Which works. Um, do we put him here and keep his helmet in his hand to give us the actor? I mean, you might as well. Really, the actors who brought it to life, truthfully, if the actor didn't do his or her job, you're not believing that it's a real person. You're not having any emotional connection to him. I think that might be why Brie Larson also just really bit it. I mean, in so many instances, that movie went wrong from the start, and I really kind of went into it with a jaded opinion, Captain Marvel, because of all the negativity that was surrounding it in the first place, and then the movie just fell flat, and it's almost like a love him or hate him, Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? He not much facial expression going on there in his acting. Love Keanu Reeves. He's made some of the best movies that have ever been made. John Wick, The Matrix, of course, Bill and Ted. So much stuff he's done. He's really have been great movies. Now, whether or not he made that movie, Speed, I think, didn't he do Speed? Whether or not if it could have been done by somebody else and been just as good, couldn't tell you. But how much acting really does Keanu Reeves do? And I love Keanu Reeves. Okay, he's if you ever hear about his day-to-day living, what an amazing guy. Um, but you have to act like so many of these actors have been quoted of whenever somebody will address them over something or whatever, and they'll say, "I'm an actor. It's what I do," you know, and that's what they do. It's what we expect. It's why we're there. Otherwise, you know, even in animators, they have to animate a character like Bumblebee, for instance, in the Transformer movies. There's no actor that you see, but the animator has to animate that character to make you give a damn about him. And I never really gave a damn about Captain Marvel. So, of course, with Paul Rudd and Ant-Man, I give a damn about him. There's an emotional attachment to him throughout the movie. You care whether or not he lives or dies. You want the hero to win at the end of the story. Or if he perishes at the end of the story, you pray to God that there's a continuation of the story where he comes back to reality, right? So of course you're going to display the head because that's who the story is. So I'm glad to hear from your opinions that this is the one that needs to be retired, and it will be. It'll be stuck right in the drawer. That's possible, Godspeed. That's possible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, that's exactly what this is. The tab goes down on it, evidently. Arms shoulder armor is equipped with touch fasteners. What the hell are touch fasteners? Velcro. Well, that's new. Um, and half of it stayed on the figure. So they put two strips of Velcro in this shoulder pad, which is nice because a lot of times as you position your figure, especially in your Iron Mans, these little shoulder pads are they can be difficult. So they addressed it with Velcro. It's an interesting way of doing it. And this piece of Velcro here doesn't have anything even sticky on it. So that's no worries. We'll just put some glue on that, shove it back in there into this shoulder piece. It's an interesting take. Let's check this one. Okay, this one stayed with the two pieces of Velcro inside there. So that's cool. I'm looking for the L and R to remind you of which one goes where. Right off the bat, I don't see an L and an R. Which could get you in trouble. I don't see an L and R attributed to these pieces. Now sometimes it's there and I just don't, and I just overlook it. I don't see it. So easy enough for me this time. The one with the broken Velcro pieces, the left shoulder. But that's pretty clever how they did that, because as you push these pieces up and down, you know, they get bound up in here, and then you end up ripping them off. Elbows is another area, as well as knees. So as you bend these guys, these little pieces that are attached via glue or whatever, they'll pop off over time or even immediately. So that's nice to see that they did that with Velcro. I'm curious if they did the same thing with the knees. I'm not going to pull on it. I don't want to break my figure. They don't make any reference to that. Just the shoulder attachments. So that's a clever way of working on that. See how that turns out if they continue on with that on other figures. It's nice to say that they didn't have the tape so totally stuck on this time that I had to cut these off. That's an improvement. So somebody's starting to do some thinking there. All you need is just enough tape to keep it from sliding off in shipment. You don't need it so taped on that you have to cut the doggone thing off. It took them years to figure that out, looks like. So package designing is getting better. Shoulder pads I'm pretty impressed with. Men in Black told us where Velcro came from, didn't it? Let's compare this guy with him. Works. Totally works. Now, Ant-Man and the Wasp was right after Civil War? Is that what the time frame was? How much time passed between those two movies? I like this suit better. I like the shine. I liked the first suit better than the Civil War suit, truthfully. I like how they went back to the first suit in their design for the movie in regards to things. The Civil War suit is definitely out there. Totally different take on Ant-Man. But these two are much closer. But each one is totally different in regards to things. So, if you're an Ant-Man fan, then I can't imagine you not being pleased with it. Now, it's interesting how they did this with this building. I thought it would literally be retracting, so they didn't. And that's cool. At first, when I seen this in the box, I was like, what the hell is this? And it dawned on me after I pulled it out. This does have a little bit of length to it. So you do have some pulling posability to it. So you can pull it up that much. And this is the little building here. There's the top of the building. I don't see a specific front door. I guess looking at this, that would be the front door. There at the very bottom. It looks pretty neat with antennas and everything on it. And he just drags it around like as if it's a piece of luggage. Because who in their right mind would look at this and think that's a building? You know what I mean? It's very clever that they did that in the movie, and I'm pleased that they have this little wheels roll on the bottom of it. 2 wheels and then 2 little flats there. Pretty clever. So what we need is a Hank Pym. Not as Ant-Man, but just a Hank Pym, right? How do we get this out? It just says they can be interchanged, the Shrunken Lab. As I'm pulling on it with a little bit of effort, it's difficult to get out, but there's nothing on there to break. It felt like there was something I was resisting on it. but as I just tugged on it, it just came out. There's no little latch or piece on it that you have to worry about breaking. And then you would simply just replace it with this one. And there you have the luggage piece. But no, I can't see this being posed with the Ant-Man per se. It's just an accessory that you would put there as you're, again, showing off your figures to your family members, especially, Thanksgiving family members come by, Christmas family members come by. They may or may not be interested in seeing your collection, and you can point it out. Oh, this is a little building you carry around like a piece of luggage at the airport. However you want to do it, and he shrunk the building, and they can understand that. They can see this and they can get a gist of what it is you're talking about, and that's what makes it easy in your retelling of your story, which is what we're doing here. We're posing our figures in our story so we can look at them and say, oh yeah, I remember that scene. I remember that scene. I know who that is. So when you're talking to a fan, well, they're on it. They know what's going on before you even get a chance to tell them what it is. Oh my God, you've got the blah, blah, blah with the such and such and on and on. That's fantastic. And I can probably count on my hand the number of people who have actually been in my home to see my collection. Probably less than 3. So I'm glad to share it with you guys out there. Thanks for spending time with me, and I enjoy spending time with you guys. Aren't you afraid of the Velcro losing its effectiveness? I've had some pieces on custom clothing that just don't stick anymore. The beautiful thing about Velcro, you can frickin' buy it anywhere. So I guess if it ever got that bad, this bottom piece doesn't look like it's necessarily going to come up. It's not going to be replaceable. But obviously this piece is. Hell, it's just coming out as it is. So if it's the fuzzy that loses its effectiveness compared to the plastic loops, then there might be some problem. I suppose at that point, if this totally loses its fuzzy and you can't attach it anymore. So let's talk about that worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, all that little fuzzy on there is no longer fuzzy. I would totally just sand that smooth at that point. I would just remove every ounce of fuzz on there, go down to your local craft store or wherever, buy you a little piece of Velcro and glue it right on there. It's literally what I would do. If that loses all its fuzz, because I can't imagine the Velcro hooks being what would fail. If anything, I would imagine it would be this. And I would just cut it in its exact same shape and just glue it right on there. That's what I would do. So I think it's a non-issue. I think it's a great way of them addressing the shoulder pads. And I'm glad to see some creative thinking in that regards. The suit has a zipper on it. So for whatever reason, if you want to take your Ant-Man suit off, there's a zipper on it. Now the bad thing is I see that because it's not held together very well. It's not pinched properly, if you can see that on there. I don't like that. I don't think it should be so noticeable. However, the back of the figure we never see. I mean, it's odd. Very odd when this is what you're posing out. It just isn't seen. For you guys that do photography, you're going to get your figure in all the different areas. For you guys that pose these in that manner, for you guys that are do the 3D, the stop motion animation, yeah, of course you're going to see it then as well. But it's so sad that so much detail is done to the back of these that just are never seen. They just really aren't seen. And it's so nice to see that they still pay attention to this. So it's kind of disappointing to see that we have a little wardrobe malfunction here. But in all honesty, It's minor in the bigger scope of things because it's the back of the figure. You know what I mean? It's like my little 1/6 kid pool that I've made, and these Spider Gwens that I've fashioned from these little Hasbro toys. I've got pieces just holding the back together to keep it together, and you'll never see that. And I'm fine with that. I would love it to fit it perfectly. But when you're dropping, what was this, $250 or something? You expect it to be right on the money. This ain't, this isn't a $12 drugstore figure. You know what I'm saying? It's 200 times that. So it's okay to be a little picky about it as such, right? So this guy will always be posed with this helmet open. I don't know whether or not that was even an option on this one. Um, and it's definitely not an option on this one. There's this helmet faceplate doesn't come off. Okay. Now I can see a little Paul Rudd in there, and that's cool. I know that they've done the same thing with Hope Van Dyne. What's her character's name? It's so funny seeing her in Ant-Man and the Wasp and remembering her from the Lost television series. It's hard to believe that's the same person. You know what I mean? And any of you guys that watched Lost when that was out back then, holy smokes. I, I really, I've not seen any Game of Thrones, not a single one. I need to. And the big complaint that everyone had when Game of Thrones ended, that they did just a terrible job at the end of it. And I don't even know because I've not seen it. But I like the comment that somebody said when all that went down, when they said, well, now you know how us Losties felt. Totally betrayed by the ending of this 7-year television show or whatever. I mean, what a great show as it was going on. Sometimes it felt like the writers that they had no idea what was going on the week before. It's like, no, in season 1, they said that that's not what this is. And then they proved that this is not what this is. And in season 1, they showed us this. And where the hell is that, And, but no, what is her name? The actress that plays the Wasp. Hope Van Dyne. We'll put the lights in his little helmet here. These red is so difficult. So many times we end up with the pink light instead of a red light, especially with the War Machines. So I'm curious to see how this has turned out. Normally I can get one in without tweezers. So we'll try the first one here. What's fun is when you're fighting a magnet in the helmet, as in I broke my plastic tweezers wherever they are. I think I threw them away. I broke my plastic tweezers, so I have these little Hot Toys tweezers. Hot Toys used to not even provide us tweezers. And these don't work as well as the plastic ones did. Don't remember who gave me the plastic. Was it King Arts, maybe? They included the plastic tweezers, little black ones. They work perfectly. No, King Arts provided this. This works great. A little punchy. Stick your batteries in there, stick it in the slot, and just push them right out. Flipping batteries, man. We're flipping batteries. try the double. This king art ones, you have to have at least 2 in it. So let's try that. I don't believe 3 will fit in there. It might. I'm gonna take 1 out so I can have my double. Load this guy up. Put your little batteries in there as such. And turn around the other direction. One of these flanges is longer than the other, so that's where you would stick it in first. I'm gonna try sticking it in against the wall first. No, I had it right the first time. I'm sticking it in against the battery first. It's already in there. Compress it against a spring. And then plunge it out. And that first battery came out. Gosh dang it. If they made a 3 battery plunger like this, that would be ideal. For real. There we go. Let's see how this looks lit up. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Again, it's unfortunate. The odds of me ever displaying these with lights on are slim to none. You know what I mean? But did a good job with that. That's red. Unfortunately, you really can't see the eyes in there that well. So that's unfortunate that they went through all that trouble of putting the eyes in there, and you really can't see it. But they did a really good job with that, I think. So let's see which way is on and off, and I'll switch it on and off for you. There's off. And there's on. So yeah, it looks really nice. I think they did a great job with that. Quite pleased. Quite pleased. Worth the effort of putting the batteries in. But as you know, these batteries won't last but 2 hours. Thereabouts in these figures. You'll just burn them right out. But for you photographers and whatnot, they're a necessity, right? Come on, Jarvis, get with the program. So these will go in the box. Never be used. I have no idea how many hundreds of batteries I have. Keep them separated in their little plastic tins, so should one ever go bad, it doesn't affect the others. Little plastic tins. Where the hell did that come from? Then we have the red and blue shrinkers and growers. They don't appear to be any different than any of the other releases of these. I'm not comparing them side by side on it, so I can't tell you for fact that's what's going on. But they appear to be the same. One thing I'd always wanted to do would be to track down a full scale, like 1-to-1 ratio of an Ant-Man, and then that would truthfully be a giant man. All you'd have to do is just paint the little things blue, right? And we had what's his name? The guy that played Giant Man in the Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was also in the Matrix. Yeah, oh, awesome. Got your depth off in, put mirrors behind. Oh, so you get to see the back of the figure. See, that's good thinking. Good thinking. Come on. Overdoing it? Hell no. We never see the backs of the figures. Little helmet piece here. Popped off when I was pulling or yanking on, I think, the wrist. Tapping it. Don't know if you can hear that. So it doesn't snap in really good. But, I mean, you're not going to be rough handling this, truthfully. I guess I'd rather it come out easy than be so difficult that you can't get it out, right? So I wonder why they use the clear plastic post for the head here. Normally, they're doing that because you would put batteries in the neck and illuminate the head that way. Maybe that was one of the directions they were going at that time. They thought they were going to do that with that. It's real interesting. No more batteries came with it. So obviously they must have scrapped that. Did he have lights on his suit in the movie? Do have a clear plastic piece on his belt buckle, which wasn't the case in the others. Maybe that was intending to be lit up at one point. Same thing with this. Who knows? So that's a gloss. Is that also? I can't tell if on these forearms here, if that's also clear plastic or if that's a gloss, really gloss red paint on there. But definitely all these little pieces here are clear red plastic, which really gives it a nice appearance that it would be lit up or something to that effect. And it's not. So it's interesting to see, what's going on here. Maybe they had intended at one point for it to be something other than what it turned out to be. So now on this, they show this, they show it going right here. I guess you just shove it in just a little bit. So you have this red tab here, okay? And there's a little slot right here on his neck. And you just, it doesn't go in far evidently, just a little bit. That's all the further that it goes for that. But the actors had complained that, the helmets you know, like the Mandalorian. I mean, what twice we've seen him without his helmet? Is that right? Twice in 2 seasons. We'll put some effort into this. I didn't hear a pop, but it's on there. And you don't have to push that down far. It doesn't seem like it's in there. It wiggles, obviously, a lot, but it's there. You don't want to break that. So just put it in there and you're good. And then he's just too happy. He's just he's way too happy. I think that was probably the wrong sculpt that they did on that. I don't think they should have gone with the smile. It's too much. And you guys are saying this is looks more like him than this. This is going to be the go-to head sculpt. Depending on how Hope looks, I would love to show her head off. I think she comes with the head sculpt too, doesn't she? I hope so. I hope Hope comes with the head sculpt. So maybe I'll do both of these guys without their helmets on. I mean, it's really a helmet that resembles the first movie in regards to things. It's hard to say. The good thing is you can always go back and forth. Pose them one way for a while, pose them the other for the next. Just turning this upside down, this little piece came out for his head cover, so it doesn't really snap in there really well on mine, but that's fine. Just keep that in mind if you start taking your figures out to the sandbox and are playing with them. This is going to probably fall off on yours. We have two fists. We have two very different grippy fingers, for putting the slider in, goes into one. So the left hand is small enough to hold the little flinger, whatever they call these, that he throws at him to shrink or to grow things. And the other hand is him definitely pushing the trigger button. And he's not holding his fist as tight as he does in the other areas, the little trigger button on his first finger there. But we have that obviously here too, in that regards. So I don't think I need to pose that in this one. And I don't even know if, I think I lost one of these little flingies from my first figure. So they'll go in the box also. I don't want to lose that because I think I remember posing him with it. And then one day I was like, where the hell is my little flinger? It's gone. So let's have a look at this little miniature Ant-Man. Compare him to its others. A little bit smaller than that miniature one from Ant-Man. And a little bit smaller than the miniature from Civil War. And I mean, I'm talking about millimeters. I'm not talking about like a half a centimeter. I'm talking like 1 or 2 millimeters. This is the first one I see that came with a clear plastic base. And it appears to be glued onto it. Imagine if you so wanted to, you could take him out of it. Always recommend it. I end up having to glue them into these little spots here with Elmer's glue in the first place. So you already have them on a base. Might as well leave them on the base. I think One of these has a base glued to it also. I don't remember which on the Civil War grouping here. But here's your miniature Ant-Man. And I think we also have a miniature Wasp coming as well, which is cool. You can either pose them shrinking or just have their own little pose someplace, literally just be creative. Stick them wherever you want in your display. Have them together as a little team. I don't know. They may have these. I don't know what you would call these. Um, choke the shit out of your hands. I don't know. They're open hands. Would they work as the football pose? Let's find out. Even though his helmet retracts, right? Let's see if he could hold his helmet with this hand. No, I can't. I'm unable to get his wrist and elbow and everything bent into a position that will hold the helmet and it looked natural. So I don't know. It's not really a natural pose for this hand. So this is like one time I can't imagine using this hand. Normally I like the natural posed hands, and this isn't natural. Now, if he's carrying something, maybe this, but I don't remember. Why would he be carrying it when it just drag it along? I don't see anything else here that would work with this. I, well, here, let's look at this. This might be something. Let's get some wrist pegs in this. I'll tell you what my thought is. Oh yeah, that wrist peg fits in there a lot nicer. I'm not tugging that out easily. So we're going to keep this one right here. The elbow joints are a little more loose than I would like. And the ankle joints are a little more loose than I would like. Hip joints are good. Feels pretty tight elsewhere. I'm wondering if I can get him holding this 1/12 Wasp. I don't know why he would be doing that. Especially with the smile. God, I can't look at that with the smile. Can't do it. Well, that works. That tells something, some sort of story there, maybe. Or have him hold any 1/12 scale figure, an Iron Man or something along that line. He could be fighting him. So that's an interesting thing you could do with the hands, I guess. So have my Ant-Man hold my Wasp and have my Wasp hold my 6-inch Ant-Man, right? If she comes with the same hands. And she's in there good. So they're a grasping holding hand. What could he be holding in this uniform? Now I could see him holding something possibly in the Avengers team suit, the white one. I don't know what to do with these hands. Interesting, the other figure bases all say Ant-Man. This says Scott Lang to differentiate from the Giant Man character and Hank Pym. So there's no question about who it is playing this Ant-Man. It's not Scott Lang. It's not Hank Pym. It's not. Gosh dang it! What's his name in the movie that played the Giant Man? Fishburne is his real name. Lawrence Fishburne is his real name. I'm trying to remember who he was in the movie. If any of you guys know. Some psychotic dude, yeah. Creepy smile, head scalp. Yeah, I agree. No, you can't. Way too much enjoyment. There's way too much going on here. I mean, the way too much. Literally, if you're going, you know what this is good for? Truthfully, like a plain closing Ant-Man. If you want to have them chilling around the shawarma, right? So that's really all this is. You can't put this on an action pose and it be the only other time I really think that they made a mistake in designing which pose head to put on a figure is the Killmonger, and I regret not ever getting that. I need to get one of my pieces. You're always constantly chasing down a piece, and I need to get an Eric Killmonger. And there's so many nice pieces coming out now. They've redone Crossbones. I think it's the same company even that made Crossbones the first time. They made a better version of them now. And they got the Claw that came out recently, and all these. There's so many players out there now making figures for us 1/6 scale collectors. It's difficult to stay on top of it all. And then at the same time, Hot Toys raising their prices on them left and right. You know, you can't even. Oh man, like geez, was it the Doc Ock figure and the Green Goblin figure and oh, odd. Don't get me started on figures that I'm missing right now. I just can't. I can't stay on top of it all. Just can't. So I have a whole Ant-Man shelf that they go on, and I plan to put him over there as well. So the bad thing about these on this bookcase is it was never designed for anything other than books. So they're like 12 and a half inches tall, literally, from bottom to top. Oh, and this fits as such, but it's not designed to go as that, as they're designed to have, I don't know why, but they put them kind of like this. Come on, guys. Cooperate with me here for a minute. Jeez. I have two of these that are already punched out, so I'm going to punch out the new ones. Don't remember what this one was from. That's how that goes. And so that's taller than my bookshelf is that I have them on. Perfect for a Detolf though, right? Let's find out. Nope. Even too tall for a Detolf by about a centimeter, a half inch. They should have thought of that. Does that slide it behind the shelf, perhaps? Maybe a little bit. But if you do pose that, like I said, at least then it can help explain to somebody what Ant-Man does. You know what I mean? What's up, regular sized guy, regular sized man? So since we have some time, this is a relatively quick unboxing, not much to him. I'm going to open up this Jowl doll I got also. I think it's an Asian Jowl doll. Asian female 1/6 scale body, WSO1. Asian shaped, detachable foot, new white skin, small bust. I think every other Jowl doll I've gotten, I might be wrong. Let me look. All the Asian ones are small busts, and all the European ones are big busts. So these other two Asians were Asian shaped detachable foot wheat skin small bust, and Asian shaped detachable foot natural skin small bust, and Asian shaped detachable foot white skin small bust. So So we'll get those out, compare the skin color in them. Because when matching up head sculpts sometimes, and I experienced that specifically when I Feissened out my Ray, so I couldn't get the skin tone actually to match her head very well. Jowdoll, I've only heard of them recently. I don't know how long they've been in the market, but they're really forcing Feisen to stay on top of things. Feisen's been doing a great job, but they have a direct competitor that offers something a little different. So, ouch. Just tried to close it on my finger. That hurted me. I didn't cut myself, I just pinched it. So I'm interested to see variants of the skin color between these three figures. Matt, I'm doing good, man. The Flash villain Godspeed. He's a pure beast, huh? Just when you think you've got an original nickname. From The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. If you've not seen that movie, some interesting interaction there in regards to his name. Godspeed. By the way. The Rock, Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage. So this one is natural skin. Natural Asian skin, or it says Asian body, natural skin, Asian female, natural skin. And this is wheat skin. Taking all the accessories out and put them in my little drawers. And the new one, so we'll put wheat over here on the dark spectrum. And Jowdoll also makes attached or seamless ankles as well. So these all three just happen to be detachable feet. So wheat, natural, and they call this one new white skin. And I gotta say, the looking at them from here, the shading is very minor. I can see the brown tones in this. I can see the yellow tones in this, and I can see that this one would be considered white. very skinny legs on these guys compared to their big bust figures. Looking at them sideways, they all appear to be cast from the same mold. So like they're calling it their Asian body, small bust. It's just depending on what skin tone that you need for them. And it's a good alternative to a Fison figure. If you're looking for a seamless body, they just do it a little differently. And even the hands and the feet are shaded properly as well. Just appearing as I'm looking at them here, the hands match the body, which is a good feat. That is a good feat. They put a little pink paint in the little belly button. And they've painted the fingernails. I believe all of my Fisons, or I mean all of the Jow dolls have painted fingernails. It's pretty rare on a Fison. Sometimes if they're doing a specialty figure, like Vampirella, they'll paint the fingernails. Rather than that, your regular Fison doesn't come with painted fingernails. All of these come with painted fingernails. So there's that. And then, of course, the accessories that the Jow doll comes with. Interchangeable head posts, because believe it or not, there's actually still some manufacturers that make different head pops on here. So supposedly, I've never attempted it, you can pull this piece out and replace it with this head post. And for the interchangeable ones, they come with the high heel foot. Let me show you this. If you're not familiar with this, I'll show you this. So you get the flat foot that they're wearing, the high heel foot, okay, or the tiptoe foot, and then you get a no-toe foot, all right, for going into some shoes where you just can't get the foot to fit properly. For instance, on my Spider-Gwen using the Hasbro figures, the feet don't go all the way into the boots. So if I were to use, you know, an interchangeable Jow doll, I could get it into that boot. But if you look, her heel is right there at that seam on the back of the boot. You just can't get it in all the way. These little feet will keep that from being the case. So they definitely give you some good thinking in regards to how to assemble your figure. They all come with a little bikini, even the ones without head sculpts. And they all come with a figure stand that is not necessarily the best figure stand, but it beats no figure stand. We're back to the same problem with those Wasp figure stand where it doesn't really hold tight enough. But there's your base, and then you would build up with these pieces to turn it into, just like you have here with the Wasp, to be able to pose your figure. You put these little joints in here to get them to attach. Come on now. You get these little joints that there's no up or down on how you put what piece where. You have two of these long ones. You have a short one. I find when I'm using these for these figures, one long and one short, and then a lobster claw, which isn't spring actuated, which would also require obviously these 2 joints. So you get 3 joints. First joint attaches to the base, second joint attaches to, goodness gracious, the second post, and the third joint attaches to the lobster claw. Like I said, you have 2 long ones, which for these figures would be good for if you're putting like a flight pose or something like that, except there's no real strength here. I suppose if you were to glue it in place, but what would be the point in doing it as such? So they really can't hold much weight. But they're definitely articulated. Which can be a bonus if you are being creative in their posing. And then I guess if you just glue it in place, you don't have to worry about it if you're going to just continue to do that. But if you buy many of these Jowl dolls, then you would have extra pieces so that you could glue that, and it's not going to affect anything. So that's a neat little stand system that they have. And then, of course, she has her relaxed hands. She comes with a trigger hand, and then like a sword holding hand. She comes with this, which I don't know what you would call that. Maybe the peace hand, I don't know. And then the outstretched flat hand. And then 2 full-on sword hands, holding hands. And then 2 full-on regular, more closed finger, relaxed hands. So she comes with a lot of stuff. If you're wanting to kit bash or build your own character or whatever, they come with that. And so this is a much skinnier figured Asian body, and that's Jowl doll in comparison, even though I'm not comparing it to a Fison if you happen to be familiar with Fison. And so that is that. Real easy, simple box. About 20 minutes to get through that. But I definitely wanted you to be able to see the wheat, the natural Asian skin, and then new white skin, and the variants of that. So that is that. And I don't have a kit bash of her planned. I don't have anything planned with her. It's one of those things that just kind of comes one day. I'm like, oh, I need a body for this. I don't have a plan for her currently. Those will go in their box. So that's all I got, guys. Where do you buy your Jowl? Big Bad Toy Store. GiantToy.com has quite a few of them, and they have some really good articles with comparison shots of skin tones as well. Also compared to fights. Nice. I don't know if you are into DC figures. I just got the VTS Black Skull. I was wondering how that was going to turn out. How is that figure? I saw that and thought that looked really good. How's the figure in your hand? Are you pleased with it? It's so nice. I guess that means you are pleased with it. One of those Asian jowl wouldn't be too bad for Pepper Potts. You know what? You're absolutely right. I wish we had a good head sculpt on that, though. I mean, I don't see Gwyneth Paltrow on this. Unfortunate. Have y'all ever found a good Gwyneth Paltrow head sculpt? Let's see what color this is. But yeah, she's definitely... This would be great for her. It'd be fantastic, actually. Sorry, Tony. Yeah, I just don't see Pepper Potts here. The wheat is pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, I think this would be a great pepper. Let's see if the little... I've had to tape this, by the way. These oval-shaped pieces, they'll just... These little wires will just snap them right in half. All right. I have a feeling these high heels aren't going to go on this. But didn't Pepper come with flat feet also? Because wasn't she flat feet fighting at the end of... Yeah, that ain't going on there. Wasn't she flat feet fighting at the end of Iron Man 3, barefoot? So if you're using these heels, they're pretty much staying on this body. Very interesting. It's the first time I've ever taken that heel off. But no, I think you're right. You could definitely, if you had another Pepper Potts head. Yeah, that'd be a great pepper. That's the wheat skin right there. Put her pants and shirt on her, right? I think it'd fit her perfectly. Because, as a matter of fact, from Iron Man 3, she was wearing a bra, wasn't she? She was in her bra and pants, bare feet, out there kicking Killian's ass, right? We could so for fact do that with this. Yeah, that'd be great. Good call. I think it's as good as it gets in regards to things. I just don't feel that that looks like Pepper Potts. But yeah, you're absolutely right. No doubt about it. Good call. The wheat skin is the one that I would recommend for that, for fact. skirt and a blouse, suit jacket, hell yeah. Any way you want to build her. It's just a matter of where you're going to get a good pepper head. Is there anybody that ever made or does make a head sculpt that resembles Pepper? I mean, otherwise you're going to have to drop $200 on the Hot Toys just to kit bash it. Because they made this, what year is this? I need my glasses. Can't read it. I'm thinking 2016. I've been saying for a while they need to make a new Pepper, and I would really like to see a. I'd like to see an older Pepper, you know, from in game, but I'd also like to see, just as you were mentioning, an Iron Man 1 Pepper. Truthfully, love pepper pots. Glasses so I can see what year this is. $2015 Hot Toys Limited. If you can see that. But yeah, Pepper has so many roles in the movies. It would be a great Pepper figure because she's super skinny. 100%. Totally. Show off those knees and the elbows. Put her in her bra. Fighting Killian. No doubt about it. So I don't know. Do people give Hot Toys as gifts? I mean, for real, it's like something you'd have to order like either way in advance, or they're chasing down a piece for you, a Grail piece for you, and they must really love you. Do any of you think you're actually going to be getting a Hot Toy for Christmas? Something I've always wondered about that. I mean, my wife, how would I say this? She lets me collect. She doesn't grief me too much on them. She allows me to have my hobby, if you know what I mean. You know, the bills are paid, food on the table, that type of thing. If someone was knocking on the door or the lights were going off, I wouldn't be allowed to collect these toys. But at the same token, I cannot imagine for 1 second that one of these be delivered to me as a gift from my wife. She thinks I have too many as it is. I don't see that ever happening. So I guess there's different levels of the support that you may or may not get from your family members. Charlemagne Prime and I had a discussion about this many years ago in regards to how your spouse and your toys or your hobby or your business in that regards go hand in hand. And his wife, she's the sweetest person in the world. He's a great guy. And she would, I would imagine, and maybe she has many times, probably bought him figures. You know, that's the kind of relationship I would believe that they would have. But on 1/6 scale figures, I don't know. Have any of you ever gotten one as a gift? Truthfully, maybe you have. Maybe I'm just one. Maybe I'm one of the unlucky who have never gotten one as a gift. That's not true. One of you guys gave me my Jean-Luc Picard. Oh man, thank you for that. You asked to be kept anonymous, so I won't shout your name out, but I know who it was. And I thank you for that. But other than that, uh, will there be a Fison or a hot toy under the Christmas tree for you? Do you know? Have you gotten one in the past? I'm curious. All right, Martin, we'll see you next Saturday, man. Looking for my third. Got a 34. Okay, yeah, oh, yeah, cool. Good ones. Those are good ones. Braun pants, another way to go. That's right. Giant Toy is selling the pepper. Really? Now, does it look like pepper? I mean, or is it this one? And what do they call it? What's the head called? Savon Maison. There's my villain collector. Savon is a villain collector. If you guys don't know Savon Maison, I love saying his name. Savon Maison. I love saying that, man. I hope you don't take offense to that. I get a kick out of it. They say that the Jowl BS skin tone is the perfect match as well. BS, I've got the BS. Let me get that one. But I'm thinking the BS is the... Well, let's just get the BS and see. Because I have that one. Wife got me one. She picked me off. Oh, no way. Good job, Jake. Yeah, if I buy it for myself. Yeah, that's right. There's your own Christmas gift. Hell yeah. Like I said, it's Christmas every day whenever I get one of these. I burst another red skull. Really? Good job. Good find on that. I hope you got a good price on it. Show you waiting for Christmas. All right. Yeah, man. That's great. I can't wait to talk about that next week when we get all our let's talk about Christmas. Not much Christmas going on here this year. All right, my BS over here obviously is my slave girl. Because this is the PS, which is black skin. So the BS has to be this one. The BS is a big bust figure. And the smokes. So evidently I glued the, Jesus. Evidently I had an issue with this head. This is a hair from a Lady Death, and I put it onto a head sculpt from, I think this was Daphne. I don't remember which head sculpt this was. In order to make this head sculpt, I swapped out the head, and I never got the hair on there good, so I glued it, and evidently the glue hadn't totally set, and it got in her hair a little bit. You can't see that, but it also got onto the body here, and in removing that, it totally geeked my body up right there. So that wasn't cool. But this is a seamless foot. But big busts. And Pepper doesn't have large busts. Large breasts. She's not a big busted girl. And I would not say as much so a match. It's a little light on that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's not much of a match there. So I would disagree with that. But I think that Asian dead on. And the body shape, because this is a fuller figured figure, thicker thighs and such as well. So I'm going to disagree on the BS body for Pepper. Let's see how badly this looks once I... not too bad. Can't really tell that her neck is popped off. Should be fine. She'll be fine. Little slave girl. But no, definitely the Asian one for fact. Wheat skin. I often have to go clean my wish list. Get out of hand. I say, save all my son the same way when I see him in any chat. Did you talk about Sideshow rewards expiring? No, I did not. They that's right. They're changing your Sideshow rewards now, and how much you have to buy in order to get them. And you know, the rewards program has always been nice for me. I buy so few figures from Sideshow, only because they charge me an arm and a leg in shipping, and so if I can get the same figure from someplace else, I will. I mean, I live in the same state as they do, and they're more expensive than anyone else in shipping their figures to me, which makes zero sense to me. So 9 times out of 10, if I'm buying something from Sideshow, it's an exclusive item, or it was sold out by one of the other manufacturers. Like Big Bad Toy Store, they must have cut back on their inventory that requirement or purchases as to how many that they want to pre-order on something. And I don't know if that's because they are in themselves buying them from Sideshow. As far as that goes, I would imagine, because Sideshow is the distributor in the Americas for that. So I would assume then that Big Bad Toy Store must get them from Sideshow and reselling them, or they could get them from anybody, truthfully. Even though technically, like Toy Sapiens is not supposed to be shipping to the United States because they're infringing upon the license agreement that Sideshow has in regards to selling exclusively to the Americas. But you know how things go with business. So I don't know, maybe Sideshow said you can only get 10 or 20 or 100 or however many it is, and I have no earthly idea that Big Bad Toy Store sells of these. But on many occasions I've gone to buy a figure from Big Bad Toy Store, and they'll be sold out, but still available on Sideshow. So the rewards program that they have there, they give you points for however much money you spend, and it goes in effect. I think it's 30 days or 90 days after you receive actually the item is shipped to you is when you earn the reward points, and it's nice. It's a good discount plan, which helps counter that shipping that you get in that. So it is a loyalty program, but I guess now they're expiring, but they're not expiring for some time. So I think it's like 2022 or something along that line. So we have a while for them to expire, but just keep in mind that if you have raked up some points on there and haven't made a purchase recently, they're not always going to be there. They're going to start falling off after a while. California law is if you have a gift card, there can be no expiration on a gift card. That's California law. But reward points is not a gift card, so they can remove those. Just like eBay reward points. I really am unable to ever take advantage of eBay reward points. I do so much infrequent purchasing on eBay. I'm not chasing down very many grails. So many grails out there. I'm not chasing them down. And there's so many 1/6 scale figures that are coming out recently. What was the one I seen the other day? I thought, oh my God, that's perfect. Another one that I'm having to pass on right now. Definitely has to go. Yeah, who was it that said that the giant toy has the pepper? I'm curious what they call that so I could chase that down. Who makes it? Is it Kim? Who's that? Kimmy? I think you still get a free figure in a 1 year time frame. Yeah, depending on how minutes you buy. Literally, the points are pretty good. It's I think it's 5% more or less of what you've bought is pretty much what they award you. I think that's what it breaks down to. So if you bought a $200 figure, I think they would give you like $10 for that towards your next purchase after the figure gets delivered to you. So you pay for it now. The figure comes in a year and a half. So in a year and a half's time, that you got $10 sitting there, and it just adds up. And they'll say, your balance is whatever 1,000 points, and 1,000 points would be worth like I don't know $50 or something like that. I don't remember how it all breaks down in regards to things, but sure enough, it can be a great reward for that as such, and they keep track of it all for you. 40 days after, there you go, exactly. What you gonna post something, Godspeed? What you doing? So, wow, 2 hours has passed quite well. So I hope to hear some great stories next week. Talk about everything you guys got going on, kit bashes that you're doing, what you got for Christmas. Even if it has nothing to do really with our hobby, it's nice just to chat with you guys. You're the family. You guys are my family. You really are, and I hope you feel as such with me as well. Sorry about last week. My wife was supposed to be on Fridays, and she couldn't make her Friday appointment. She wasn't feeling well, so she rescheduled it for Saturday. And they scheduled her at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I got up at 6, and I it was in like one ear and out the other. When she told me that, I knew it, but I didn't piece everything together. So I got up at 6 o'clock to prepare for the show, and she's up already. And I said, you know, we said our cordials, and she says, "You're gonna help me get ready, right?" I'm like, "Help me get ready for what?" She goes, "My appointment I have to be to in 2 hours." I'm like, "You haven't? I'm sorry, excuse me. What did you just say?" So that's what happened last week. And she's like, "Oh, totally didn't think about your show." She respects my show. Like I said, I've got the best wife in the world in that regards to things. I love her to death. She loves me to death. We've got a great relationship. She tolerates my hobby. She doesn't necessarily endorse it. I will not have a hot toy or any 1/6 scale nothing under the tree this year. As a matter of fact, I've bought my wife only just a couple of essential things, and I don't expect anything from her. I own everything I've ever possibly wanted, and um, anytime I want to buy something, I just buy it. Uh, so Christmas just isn't what it used to be. You know what I mean? And that sucks. Enjoy the season, and this is my Christmas. So here's my Christmas present to me, and then I got the Replicade and my Jowl doll. That's my Christmas present, and you guys are my Christmas present. So about going to wrap this up. Unless you got anything else, that's the link to the pepper. It didn't come through. See if you can type it, Godspeed, instead of trying to post the link. The link didn't come. Or see if you can put it down in comments down there. Um, that would be good. Without buying any figures, you can get a free figure. Yeah. Without buying any figures, that doesn't make any sense. I think you mean by collecting the points, you can get enough points to pay for a figure. Yeah, easily. Thank you, Jake. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to all of you all. I hope to see y'all next week. If you're not here, that's fine. I mean, you may have family, or you may be visiting somebody, of course. But we're going to be here. If you want to chit chat about what you got going on, whatever else is happening along things. Love The Mandalorian, by the way. If you've not been watching The Mandalorian, where the hell have you been? If you call yourself any type of a Star Wars fan, you would love The Mandalorian. We have to wait now a whole another year for the next season. Thank you very much. Thanks. Yep, I agree, Jake. Yep. Next time, Toy Mafia. That's right, baby. Go to gianttoy.com and search Pepper. Beautiful. Good lead on that, Godspeed. Good lead, because I've been really wanting another Pepper. I mean, I've been pining for a Pepper. When this Pepper came available back 5 years ago, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, Pepper. And you could either buy her as her, or you could buy her with the Mark 9. And of course, I was chasing down the Mark 9 as well, so I bought the double pack. But I was pleased to get her as well. But just kind of disappointed that I didn't think it ever really looked like her as far as that goes. So I'm gonna have to check this out at Giant Toy. Thank you very much to who that made that. And Merry Christmas to y'all. Happy New Year's is very next week. And I hope you guys are doing well. And take care of yourselves. I love you. I'll see you all in the next video. And happy collecting, man. Happy collecting. Peace out.